New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Live from a secure concrete bunker somewhere in Ohio, New Thought Media Network presents Pastor Michael Mangus with Friday's Fireside Chat, spiritual conversation for today. Here he is from the secret radio room, surrounded by thousands of watts, Pastor Michael Mangus.
Well, good evening to one and all from across the United States and also around the world. It is time once again for another fun-filled throwback, and yes, absolutely guaranteed, always exciting edition of the Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network. I am Reverend Michael Mangus, and I am broadcasting this evening from the secret radio room located in the highly secure concrete bunker that is so top secret that even the Reverend Jeff Radcliff, he has no idea where I'm located. He thinks he does, but he doesn't. Well, hello there, everyone. Good to see everyone this evening. And we are live. So if you'd like to comment, that would be great. We do have a great show for you tonight. So if you would, you can go ahead and to post your comments again, either on Facebook. And for all those shy people out there, I know you're out there, you can send me an email. PastorMichaelMangus@gmail.com, PastorMichaelMangus@gmail.com. So I do read those during the week, and again, appreciate those folks who are watching either live or on the replay. Well, once again, all the way from the great state of Tennessee, we have a regular guest commentator. I wonder how many times he has to be on before I have to give him a coffee mug. Okay. But all the way from snowy and icy Tennessee, we greet the Reverend Jeff Radcliff. Jeff always has something interesting to say about the news and also spirituality. That's why we keep having him back on. So thank you, Jeff. And Jeff is waiting in the wings. Yes. With his wings on, yes. Well, again, greetings to everyone again across the United States and also around the world. Yes, it is time once again for the news. Yeah, I know. Here he is. Yes, he is there. That is Mr. 45 or President 45. Well, Trump on the ballot is going to the Supreme Court. Former President Donald Trump has warned the Supreme Court of chaos and bedlam. Does that mean that it's going to rain cats and dogs? If the states are allowed to bar him from the 2024 ballot, a growing number of states are pushing forward with efforts to exclude the likely Republican presidential nominee from their ballots, resulting in appeals from the Trump team. The Colorado Supreme Court last month says that Trump is constitutionally ineligible to run in 2024 because of the 14th Amendment ban on insurrectionists holding office, covering his conduct on January 6th. I know that some of you think that this show is too political, and I get that. If you notice, though, is that I comment on issues of social importance, not because of politics. So in this country, in the United States, we have a very important election that's coming up. So what can you do? Well, the first thing is to pray for peace, order, and harmony in the U.S. That's the first thing. The second thing is to register and go vote. If you're registered, please check your registration before you go to the polls. Please go watch CSL Denver's Sunday morning broadcast, which is archived on the New Thought Media Network from last Sunday on January 14th. Our own Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski gave a wonderful lesson on why New Thought centers can't just teach principle on Sundays anymore. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg on Thursday pledged to build out artificial general intelligence, or AGI, that would meet or surpass human intelligence in almost all areas. This comes as several tech giants, including Microsoft and Google, continue to share new AI tools and visions amid a heightened AI arms race. That's interesting how they put it that way. However, some skeptics have shared concern about the possibility that these big companies and new players could create unintentional harm with their revolutionary products. So the question that I use when assessing technology is this: does it bring us closer together as humanity, or does it separate us? Chad Grovelander last summer at the International New Thought Alliance talked about the whole idea that social media separates us. And so I just want to remind everyone that there were many concerns when the internet became popular in the 90s. And AI is a lot like your computer. Correct data in, you'll get correct data out. Garbage in, though, and garbage out. Now, I have typed several prompts into chat GPT only to get wrong information. And since some of the sources for AI include newspapers like the New York Times, they are suing AI companies for using its information for free. Something to think about. And yes, I have used AI for morning messages. However, I do cite my source. In other news from Uvalde, Texas, the Justice Department released a damning report on Thursday that said that the 2022 shooting in Uvalde, Texas could have been stopped sooner if it wasn't for critical failures in leadership among the specific law enforcement officers. It took 77 minutes from when the 18-year-old shooter walked into Robb Elementary School until he was stopped. 77 minutes. The massacre left 19 children and 2 teachers dead. The Department of Justice report paints a picture of confusion and cowardice among the officers who ran towards the sound of gunfire, and then they almost immediately stopped once they approached the classroom where the gunman was located. One of the most significant failures was the officer's failure to classify the incident as an active shooter scenario and to do everything possible to stop the threat. Instead, they treated the attack as a barricaded subject scenario where police are encouraged to negotiate. All right, there were mistakes made by law enforcement, big mistakes. And all the school shootings across this country were not created by the police. I wonder if the Right to Life marchers this weekend in Washington are including the right to life of our school children. If the pro-lifers really are pro-life, one of their talking points would be to encourage a common sense gun control law in the United States. So why don't more churches and pro-life organizations say something about the superabundance of guns in this country? Well, because it's bad for business. Individuals will leave, and with them, their money. And I have a friend of mine who's a Polish national Catholic priest who's retired now. He just mentioned gun control from the pulpit very briefly. And a longtime congregant came up to him after church to tell him that this would be his last Sunday attending. And again, go watch Dr. Roberts' talk last Sunday. I think it is absolutely wonderful. I'm getting messages says the talk isn't on New Thought Media Network. Yes, it is. It's under Denver. Yes, CSL Denver. Master Control is telling me I looked last week. It was not there. Well, it's there, believe me. So go look, because I think that it really is a something that we really need to think about. You may disagree with what Robert said. Oh, again, from Master Control, they're saying, but it is on their website. Okay. Master Control in the background. All right. One last story. He's saying that I'm a dork. Yes, proudly. Well, the last story here. Club Q shooter will plead guilty to 74 counts of federal hate and gun crimes, while prosecutors won't seek the death penalty. And the person who pleaded guilty to state murder charges in a mass shooting of an LGBTQ plus nightclub in Colorado has reached a plea agreement on federal charges. As a part of the proposed agreement, the shooter will plead guilty to 74 counts of federal hate crimes and also gun crimes for the November 2022 massacre at Club Q in Colorado Springs that left 5 people dead, according to documents. They are expected to receive multiple concurrent life sentences, plus additional consecutive sentences totaling 190 years imprisonment upon a judge's acceptance of the plea terms, the agreement said. And the judge says, the shooter identifies as non-binary, and they use they and them pronouns. But see, it gets into a bigger discussion here. The discussion not to seek the death penalty comes less than a week after prosecutors in New York announced that they will ask for the accused Buffalo, New York supermarket gunmen to face the possibility of capital punishment. It is the first time the Justice Department under President Joe Biden has authorized the pursuit of the death penalty. Advocates of abolishing the death penalty say that Biden's Justice Department has a mixed record on capital punishment. So my question is this here. Did two wrongs make a right? The death penalty is outlawed in many countries around the world. So I am a pro-life sentence individual with a day of remembrance every year on the anniversary of the killing spree spent in solitary confinement. And the death penalty has not been a deterrent for these mass shooters and also shootings in this country. All right. I know that Reverend Jeff Radcliff will have some things to say about this here in just a few moments. He says, "You bet your sweet bippy." Boy, you're really dating yourself with that. Well, good evening, everyone. And again, welcome. You are watching the Fireside Chat here on Positively Inspiring New Thought Media Network. Again, we don't shy away from the news here. And that's been a part of the challenge within New Thought communities. And again, the discussion on the minister's listserv this past week has been just teaching principle on Sunday mornings and becoming socially active. So I know Jeff Radcliff will have some wonderful things to say about this here in just a few moments. Yes, Wayne Baldwin, Captain Michael Mangus at the controls this evening. Audio is choppy. Okay, not much I can do about that. Hopefully it's better here. Is the audio choppy, Jeff? Kinda, sorta? Okay. Well, I'll back away from the microphone since I have such a tiny voice. Well, hi there again. Welcome, everyone. And let's do a few announcements. And then what we'll do then is we will then pay some bills and then come back and have some comments on the news with my friend, the Reverend Jeff Radcliff. Yours truly is currently parking himself at Summit CSL. For more information, please go to summitcsl.org. There you will find information about our wonderful Sunday gatherings online at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 in the morning Pacific time. Yes, it is early. So grab your cup of coffee, your tea, your espresso, whatever wakes you up, your energy drink, and please join us. We do have, I believe, one of the better services in New Thought. And so this Sunday, we are going to continue our series about the fundamentals of the science of mind teaching. So for many, many, many years, many religious science centers around the world, they take the introduction, which is not the first chapter, but they take the introduction, which is the thing itself, what it does, and how to use it. Thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. I almost lost my my religious science license because I forgot that. Go to Summit CSL for more information about how to join our Zoom call. And again, our service is simulcast on the Summit Spiritual Center of Akron Facebook page. And also, our Facebook page also has past broadcasts of the Fireside Chat and yours truly when he is praying on the New Thought Media Network. All right, it's the beginning of the year, and that we are gearing up for an exciting year at New Thought Media Network. Daily doors are opening. Daily, we're getting more and more people interested in putting programs on our network. We currently have over 40 hours a week of content. And again, it is free. And that to make it free, we are asking every one of you to please partner with us. When you financially partner with us on a monthly basis, well, if you want to give a large one-time gift, that's okay. I'll take that. But for those of you who want to partner with us on a monthly basis, it can be as little as $5 a month. That really makes a huge difference in setting budgets and also buying the equipment that we need for, especially this summer when we go and we stream from different New Thought conferences. We stream the conference to people who could not attend in person. And I just gave Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, a whole list, about $5,000 worth of equipment. So help us out, please. Again, just go to ntmedia.org/donate. And again, we really appreciate those of you who are helping us out. And so thank you again so very, very much. Okay, time for break, and then we will be back with a lot more interesting talk with Reverend Jeff Radcliff. This is the Friday Evening Fireside Chat here on your New Thought Media Network.
Choice, your creative superpower. We have the power to manifest as we dedicate attention to our thoughts, but often miss opportunity to achieve the greatest good. Your superpower is waiting to be unleashed to unlock a fuller, more rewarding world for all. Join us every Thursday at noon Mountain Time for Choice, your creative superpower with Zoe DeMuro.
The views and opinions expressed by Pastor Michael Mangus are generally right. However, they are his own and do not reflect the views and opinions of New Thought Media Network, Centers for Spiritual Living, or any other person living or dead. As they say in the 12-Step Recovery Program, take what you like and leave the rest. Here again is Pastor Michael.
And all the way from snowy and icy Tennessee, we invite back the Reverend Jeff Radcliff. Jeff is an ordained divine science minister, has degrees, has
Out the
preached for
wazoo.
years, all kinds of stuff. Yes, out the wazoo. Can we say that on the radio?
You just did.
I
I just
just did.
did. You know, Robert, Reverend RBZ is going to get he'll live.
He'll live. Okay.
He'll live.
Reverend Jeff, how are you doing? You staying warm down
Oh
there?
my gosh. You gave me, I have been very good the past few times I've been on here.
Yeah.
And not ragging you about some of the weird stuff you've done.
Okay.
All right, but here you've got two things here that I'm going to have to call you on. First of all,
Okay. Okay. Let me guess.
okay.
The Trump picture.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that was okay. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, it's the thing it is, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. That's what CSL does every January.
Right.
The first 4 chapters of the Science of Mind textbook.
Right.
Now, because you couldn't get that right, now I'm going to have to call Reverend Sonny. I'm going to have to say, hey, he doesn't know what he's doing.
No, now hold it. Now I corrected myself. You can call Reverend Sonny Cantrell. You can go ahead and call. She is our spiritual leader of Centers for Spiritual Living. Yes, you can call her.
Yeah, it's sad.
And say, listen, Michael has
scientists know more about CSL than.
Go ahead. You know more about CSL than I do?
I didn't say that, except that I started out studying unity before I moved into religious science, before I became a divine scientist. So I'm pretty well versed in Ernest Holmes.
Okay. You know what? Again, brain freeze. It is 18 degrees above zero here.
Oh, wow. That's what it is here.
Yeah, we've had light snow, which means we have 6 to 8 inches of snow outside. So what's the other thing?
Oh, the other thing. First of all, you know the expression, you took the words out of my mouth?
Okay.
You did that tonight. You did that tonight. Because those notes that I had put into the document that you sent me, right, I highlighted because those were points I wanted to bring out during the course of the discussion, and you just ripped that right out of it, just like a pulling the rug out. It was like Lucy pulling the football out from in front of Charlie Brown.
Hold it. I'm going through my okay. So you wanted me to save those.
Those were for me. Those
all
were
right.
my
Well, you
talking
can
points.
still repeat them. Go ahead.
It's too late now. You've ruined the moment. Let's just move on to something.
Well, no, you had highlighted about the Uvalde report put up by the DOJ today.
Yeah, and that just totally amazed me. I heard it on NPR this morning, or maybe it was yesterday. I think it was this morning though, that they that the police down in Uvalde didn't classify that as an active shooter scenario. You know, when there's an active shooter scenario, you go in there and you do everything you can to put a stop to it before any more people get killed. And instead, what they did was make it like a barricaded subject scenario. Like, here's a guy who's holed up in the house, and maybe once in a while he'll shoot at us and we'll shoot back at him, but we'll have him on the phone and we'll try to negotiate something to where he puts the gun down and comes out. That wouldn't work in this scenario. And that's why they are in kind of the situation they're in right now.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of lawsuits coming out of this.
Yeah. I would say definitely. And that's the thing is there is the immunity that law enforcement officers have, but they have used this immunity thing, and Donald Trump's trying to use it, in the presidential arena. Yeah, but whenever you do something wrong and you screw it up, oh well, you can't sue me. I'm a public figure. I'm a public servant. You can't sue me. Sue the city if you want to, but you can't sue me personally for not doing my job properly.
Now,
I'm not a fan of that.
so individuals are going to say, well, now, Jeff and Michael, now you are anti-police, which is far from the truth.
No.
Absolutely. We are for our men and women in blue. Absolutely. They have a tough job. And that I believe that many of them were following orders that the captain or the lieutenant says, don't go in there. Mm-hmm. And so what do?
Yeah.
Do you go in, or do you, and then risk a, dereliction of duty by disobeying the command of a superior officer?
Right. Yeah, that is true. I am definitely pro-police. They have a tough job. They need to do it without the fear that they're going to screw up. But when they do, they need to take responsibility for it. The rest of us do. The rest of us have to.
Right.
And you can't say, "Oh, I was just following orders." They said the same thing during the Nuremberg trials.
Right.
I was just following orders. They tried to throw it right back onto Adolf Hitler. But, somewhere along the line, you have to take some sort of personal responsibility. So like Reverend Robert was saying in that talk that he gave on Sunday, which, by the way, I looked all over New Thought Media Network YouTube page for. I couldn't find it. I found the one for the week before, but not this past week. But I did find it on CSL Denver's on their website, csldenver.org, by the way.
So what did you think about it?
I wasn't sure going into it where exactly he was going to go with it. And then it hit me, he's dead on the money. Now, I'm not part of the CSL ministers listserv because I'm not a CSL minister. I'm Divine Science. But I've got enough friends in religious science, in Centers for Spiritual Living, that I hear what's going on. And I know that there were some who were saying, oh, we need to just teach principle. And I think that's great. And then there were some saying, oh, we need to do more than this. Ernest Holmes left the entire teaching open at the top. He said he wanted it open at the top for new revelations from Spirit.
Yes.
And the way I look at the Science of Mind textbook is the same way I look at the United States Constitution. It is a living document. This is not a Bible. This is not a done deal, okay? It's not set in stone. Moses did not bring this down from the mountain. Ernest Holmes didn't bring it down from the mountain, carved in stone, okay? It's
Some people believe that, though, Jeff.
I know, and they scare me, those people. But that's an entirely different subject for another day.
Okay.
Here's the thing. This is a living book. It's a living document. It was meant to change with us as we change, as we grow, as we gain in spiritual maturity. Even St. Paul talked about the milk of the teaching of Christianity that new believers are given. But eventually you have to graduate and start eating solid food, and you get the meat of it.
Yes.
Well, we've got milk here and we've got meat here, but there's so much more to it because we have come a long way from when this was written, and the latest copy or the latest edition of Science of Mind textbook was edited in 1938.
Yes.
So that's like 80 years, 85 years ago.
Yes.
We've come a long way, baby. A long way.
And I think that if you take a look at the history of New Thought, that we were born out of the social justice movement. Wallace Waddles, Emma Curtis Hopkins were very active back in the beginning of the century, of the 20th century, in social issues. So for us not to be involved in these while people are getting killed,
Exactly.
while people are suffering on a daily basis. I was just taking a look at a book that talks about the stress of being African American in this country, and that it takes the toll of spiritual, emotional, and physical distress on a daily basis. If people are suffering like that, and I'm not supposed to say anything, I don't think so. I mean, we're pretty progressive here at New Thought Media Network, and that we have, again, Robert has pretty much has encouraged all of us is to speak up and speak out, and saying that there is a spiritual solution also.
Right.
And
Yeah.
the spiritual solution is to not only be engaged in our community, but also to see the divinity in our brother and sister, no matter what their race, creed, color, or sexual preferences, is to see their divine nature. More from you, Reverend Jeff Radcliff.
Yeah. And I know it's a platitude. A lot of people have heard it over the years. You treat and move your feet. And that's all well and good. And that is something that apparently we as a movement are pretty damn poor at doing. We'll talk about social justice issues, and we'll talk about how this needs to change and that needs to change, but how much of it are we going out and doing on our own to change this, to make it right? It said that God helps those that helps themselves. If you take a step towards spirit is going to take a running leap toward you to make what you ask for come into being.
So what do you think about individuals who disagree? If you go, like, for example, my priest friend mentioning gun control, and then an individual coming up afterwards and saying, this is the last Sunday that I am attending this church.
It's their choice. Every one of us is an expression, an individualized expression of divinity. And God expresses, and Reverend Robert brought this out in his talk, God expresses as these things, then abandons these things to move on to go into other, expressions. Because as Thomas Troward said, the divine expression continues to go forward. It builds on what has come before, but it continues to move forward. It's okay for somebody to have a difference of opinion. It's fine. Do I think they're right? Do I think they're wrong? In some instances, I will say, yeah, I think you're wrong, or yeah, I think you're right, whatever. But in the big scheme of things, their expression is their expression. They are expressing God as they understand God. I'm expressing as I understand God. So are you, so is everybody else. That's not to say that I'm higher up than this guy who doesn't want to come back to church because the priest, mentioned gun control. No, not at all. We could be on an even keel. It's just that at this particular issue, we're seeing differently, not eye to eye.
Hi there. If you're wondering what you stumbled onto this evening or on the replay, this is a Friday evening fireside chat here on your New Thought Media Network. We are joined by the Reverend Jeff Radcliff. Jeff, do you have any comments about the Club Q shooter getting life imprisonment while the other Shooter in Buffalo is they're going after the death penalty on him.
Now, I may be wrong in this. I don't think I am, but I don't remember hearing you say this person's name. Anderson Lee Aldrich.
Yes.
The shooter. Okay. Do I have any opinions on that? Kind of wish they hadn't done it. Kind of wish they'd have talked to somebody before they felt like they needed to go shoot up a bar. And not only that, but for somebody who is non-binary to go to a club that caters to gay, lesbian, non-binary people, I mean, what were you thinking? That takes self-loathing to a whole nother level.
So what I understand from reading the news reports was that one of the reasons why that the prosecutors in Colorado did not go after the death penalty was because that they wanted to spare the families of reliving that awful day. So, but
now that also, I disagree with.
Go ahead.
That I disagree with. Here's the thing. Yeah, these families are going to hurt into perpetuity. Somebody lost a father, a sister, a mother, a daughter, a son, whatever. And yeah, they're going to have to go through their life reliving that or dealing with the fact that their loved one was taken away from them. Meanwhile, you kill this person and their suffering is over. I think that it's barbaric. This is me talking, only me. This is me. I think it's barbaric to want someone to suffer as much as you are suffering. Okay. Now, I know that they gave him concurrent life sentences, which means he has to finish out one life sentence before he gets moved on to the next one. And we're talking multiple life sentences that are totaling 190 years. There's no way in the world that he's going to be able to continue 190 years. He's going to die well before then.
Right.
Then what happens with the family? They could keep him locked up until he is as old as Methuselah, But what good does that do you? You've lost your loved one. I'm sorry. That you mentioned earlier, way earlier in the broadcast, do two wrongs make a right?
Yes.
I don't think so. Should this person Anderson Lee Aldrich be punished? Yes, absolutely. What Anderson Lee Aldrich did was abhorrent. It was horrendous. It was despicable. It needs to be punished.
Right.
But there comes a time when punishment turns into cruelty.
So how is putting a person away for life cruel?
Well, it's
compared to taking their life so that the justice system, the justice scales are balanced.
How are they not balanced if they put him to death? If they seek the death penalty and put him in the chair and pull the lever, isn't that still justice? An eye for an eye, as the Bible says? No, what they're asking for, we want him to keep alive so that he can suffer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's where I'm coming from. It's not a question of justice, because there would be justice even if they pulled the lever and electrocuted him, if they shot him full of bullets, if they gassed him, whatever. There's still justice there. What they're not looking for is they're not looking for justice so much as they're looking for vengeance. And vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I will repay. And that goes back, So
what do you think about
this? Is probably not a popular stance, but it's my stance, and I stand by it.
So what do you think about the I don't think I read it this evening for the Tree of Life synagogue
Right,
shooter, that he was sentenced to death.
right.
The shooter in Buffalo they're going after the death penalty with him.
Right.
So my question is, why are they going after the death penalty for those two people and not the individual in Colorado?
You're asking the wrong dude. I can't answer that question. I don't know. It's the difference between families and their beliefs, I guess.
Yeah.
And because the prosecuting attorneys are going to take into consideration what the families ask for. And so if the families are saying, we want him to have a little bit of leniency, therefore let's put him into jail for life. He can live, he can kind of sort of suffer with that, as opposed to those people who want immediate retribution. It's the difference between them, and the prosecutors are going to take into consideration that. No matter what it looks like, though, no matter what it looks like, either stance, God is still in that, because each and every person in there is an individualized expression of divinity. Now, maybe they're expressing in a way that we wouldn't, but they're expressing in the way that they understand to the best of their ability how to do that. So, and because spirit is infinite, we're going to have reactions across the board, and that's okay. So the only thing I can attribute this to is some people want to make the guy, the person, suffer as much as they can, versus somebody else who wants to, do them in and be done with it. And in a lot of ways, I think that's probably a more healthy way. I'm not a fan of the death penalty. I am not a fan of the death penalty, but I am also not a fan of cruel and unusual punishment.
Well, again, so
see these as
so one more question here. So if so I agree with the whole idea of no death penalty and then letting them live out a concurrent life sentence.
Right.
And for them to have a day of remembrance every single year on the day that the incident happened.
Right. I've got no problem with that, actually.
Okay. So why? And again, most of the Western countries have banned the death penalty. So my question here is, what I'm hearing you say is that there are family members wanting retribution. They're wanting this individual to suffer, and that a spiritual approach that you see is to go ahead and to, again, let the judgment be of the divine and not of anyone else. Am I correct?
Say that again, please.
So so you're saying judgment is mine, saying the Lord.
Right.
Okay, so what you're saying is that for us to go ahead and to want that kind of retribution,
right,
that it really is against Judeo-Christian and also other religious teachings.
No, what I think I'm saying is that if there were an anthropomorphized deity, which I don't believe that there is, I believe that God is spirit, and spirit is principle, and love and law, as CSL says. But what I'm seeing, like the shooter in Uvalde, how many life sentences are going to be enough for you? You know, he can. This person can only serve one life sentence. Once this person dies, that's it. You can't bring them back to life and make them serve their second life sentence on up until they serve 190 years. That's just craziness. How much is it going to be before, how much do you need? How much do they need? One is enough. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Is there's a line somewhere between justice and cruel and unusual. And I think when it comes to multiple life sentences, this is without the possibility of parole, there's no way this person's ever going to get out of jail.
Mm-hmm.
How many do you need to make you feel like you have been avenged?
Good point. And again, that we have those kind of hard conversations here on our network because, again, you can agree or disagree with either Jeff or myself.
Oh,
it's just we want you to think, what is a spiritual response to this? Jeff, I wanted to cover one more story before we go here.
Sure.
And this is one I think I sent you, but you didn't read it, but that's okay.
TLDR. Folks, if you could have seen it, he sent me a 10-page document to prepare for tonight's show. And I'm like, there is no way in Hades that I'm reading all of this.
All right. So it says, so the story, this is from Religion News Network. It says, historic Methodist rift is a part of a larger Christian split over the LGBTQ issue.
Right.
And again, what it says is, again, talks about the latest split in denominations, which happened with the United Methodist Church.
Right.
There was, I think, about a third left to form their own organization called the Global Methodist. Most of the churches were in the South. There were a few churches up here, and especially in Ohio. Again, it's just interesting because when the topic of homosexuality, same-sex marriage, when it comes up, that what happens is that you have individuals who say, well, no, that's against the Bible. And then you have other people that saying, no, there's another side to this that does have a scriptural element to it. So you've seen division here, not only in the United Methodist, but also in the Presbyterian Church. You've seen the division also in the Episcopalian Church.
The Baptists.
So I really liked what was said here about attacks on LGBTQ plus inclusive churches have seemingly increased recently.
Right.
Just last year, a neo-Nazi firebarn a church for planning to host a pair of drag events, and that was in Ohio. Two men tried to shout down a pastor delivering a pride church service, and also unknown people placed anti-LGBTQ plus flyers on vehicle windshields of people attending pre-Pride Month services.
Right.
So you're seeing a divide here. You're seeing a split over what some consider a critical doctrinal position. And that it's interesting that the individuals who have, like, for example, like a majority of the United Methodist Church, a majority of the Lutheran churches, a majority of the Episcopalian churches are pro-LGBTQ communities. I have a friend of mine who is a gay priest in the Episcopal Church. So I think that this is happening here, I believe, again, somehow or another for good. Is that, yes, it is time to stay and take a stand for individuals, and especially our LGBTQ plus brothers and sisters. Your comment, Reverend Jeff Radcliff.
Yeah. I'm doing a quick search on my Facebook page, but I can't find what I'm looking for. Evidently, my search criteria is not right. But this same thing happened to a progressive United Methodist Church here in Nashville 3, 4, 5 years ago, something like that. Somebody saw the pride flag and decided that they were going to vandalize the church.
Yes.
Yeah. So so this is going on all around. I did see something interesting the other day, and I wish I'd made note of it for tonight, and I didn't. But
Jeff left us. Well, you can tell this is live, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we can get him back for comments. But what he was saying was that there has been attacks on churches putting out LGBTQ supporting banners. There he is.
Yeah, sorry, I clicked on the wrong. When you've got 15 windows open and you click on the wrong one, and then you go, oh. That's what I did. That's what I did. To continue my thought, I saw an article the other day. There are so many people leaving the United Methodist. There are so many people leaving Christianity in the United States anyway. The United Methodist Church is no different from any other denomination in this country. However, in Africa, the United Methodist Church is growing and thriving. Here's the thing. Most of the African congregations are going with the global United Methodist Church because of the homosexuality stance, which is not difficult to understand because homosexuality in traditional African cultures is not only frowned upon, but it's forbidden.
Right.
But, and here's the thing, is the other day I saw this article from a few of the ministers in Africa who were saying, you know what, maybe this is too hard a stance. Maybe there is room for grace when it comes to LGBTQ people. Maybe we need to rethink this a little bit. I don't think that they're going to be enough of them to turn the tide to reunite global and the the United Methodist Church, as we know it right now. I think there's still going to be a split. I think that's okay. I think that now I grew up United Methodist, and I used to work for United Methodist, one of the businesses that is
30
affiliated
seconds
with the United Methodist Church, but not owned by the church. Okay, let's put it that way. So I did work with the United Methodist affiliated business. The thing is, there's grace to be had here.
Yes.
And I see the globalists being as rigid and as hardline as if they were political. It's either our way or no way at all. And since we can't have our say, we can't have it our way, we're going to take the ball and we're going to go home.
And I think that there is a really wonderful and a very scriptural argument that is not taken into consideration about same-sex couples, especially couples marrying. Homosexuality has been around since the dawn of time. So again, that to have individuals and have a society say, listen, there's room enough in our society for everyone. I think that is and that you're going to have some individuals and people that are not going to like that. And can we go ahead and stay the course and to support our LGBTQIA plus individuals? Can we stay the course and also to allow them to express in our society.
Because they are just another expression of divinity.
Right.
You might not like the way they're expressing. That's okay. That's not your deal. Your deal is to express spirit, or to let God express through you and as you.
Right.
And that's got nothing to do with anybody else.
Right. We're all out of time.
We can't be. It's too early.
We have so much fun.
We do. We get so caught up.
Reverend Jeff Radcliff, again, thank you so very much. Stay warm down there in Tennessee.
Yeah, if I can hold out until Wednesday, we are headed toward the 60s. And
Woo-hoo.
Right now it's like 15 degrees. Yeah.
Well, we got you.
Yeah.
We got you beat here. I think I'm taking a look at the thermometer here. It's 19 degrees here in Ohio. So
yesterday, when the snow was still nice and soft, I could take Lily out and she'd lift her feet up really high because the snow is up to her like belly.
Wonderful dog.
Well, yeah, she's a sweetheart. Then it started to rain and it was below freezing and it froze. She's out there today, slipping and sliding on the ice, trying to get a foothold so she could go out and do her business. I felt so sad for her.
We got to go.
Hold out 60 degrees next week.
All right, sir. Thank you so very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Now you go back in the green room for a few moments, okay? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Hey, time for us to get on out of here again. Thank you so very much. Again, if you can, please go to ntmedia.org/donate. Help us out here, especially partner with us during this next year. Again, we have wonderful opportunities available to us, and that you can be a partner with us again to take this empowering teaching to the whole world. ntmedia.org/donate. On behalf of myself and also Reverend Jeff Radcliff and the rest of our wonderful team here at the New Thought Media Network, I am Reverend Michael Mangus. I'm going to wish you a very pleasant good night and also sweet dreams.
Thanks for joining us this evening for Friday's Fireside Chat with Pastor Michael Mangus. Join us again next week at 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain for more spiritual conversations for today. For more information and replays of past shows, please visit the New Thought Radio and Media Network's Facebook page. Until next week, may God bless you richly and abundantly.